Fabian Picardo, who was accompanied by the Deputy Chief Minister, began his speech by reminding the committee that, despite repeated requests, it has not yet agreed to send a delegation to Gibraltar, and for 30 years it has not removed it from the list of non-self-governing territories. He said Gibraltarians are the most committed, the most indefatigable, and the most unbeatable of the agents in play, and would not be going away until they are delisted.
Over those 30 years, Madam Chair, our determination has not been blunted at all by an apparent lack of progress on either of these fronts. And it will not be. For the Gibraltarians will continue to come here to fight our corner and defend our homeland for as many years as may be necessary.
However, he said the Gibraltarians were a mature people, aware of their rights and aware of their need to work with their neighbours to the north and to the south in a spirit of diplomatic and economic cooperation. Mr. Picardo said previous differences between Gibraltar, the UK and Spain, which had been brought before the UN, had now been resolved in the first tax treaty since 1713. And he committed Gibraltar to continue narrowing the differential between tobacco prices if an agreement is reached on a treaty for Gibraltar's future relationship with the EU.
We will work to facilitate the lives and trade of those who want or need or wish to cross our borders as fluidly and securely as possible. But we will do that whilst continuing to defend what is exclusively ours. Indeed, it is in the nature of international diplomacy that we can and must cooperate maturely on matters despite other differences. The very nature of the United Nations is to seek to work on what unites us despite what divides us. And so we are committed to always seeking pragmatic solutions to issues that do not compromise our fundamental positions.
The Chief Minister said there were reasons to be optimistic about solutions coming down the track. However, he said Gibraltarians would never accept that they were mere bystanders in their own decolonisation. He said that notion, sowed by Spain, was based on a false premise, and Gibraltar would never accept that the international legal status of its land should be the subject of dialogue between the administering power and a third party. He said the committee only had the power to protect the rights of the people of the non-self-governing territory, and accepting or promoting a solution which transfers land over the people's heads would be breaching international law.
We are now in the 4th international decade for the eradication of colonialism. Your committee needs to engage with Gibraltar. You need to do more to delist us, and soon, because Gibraltar is our land. It is our home, and only our choice will determine its future.
In a relatively short address, the Spanish representative to the UN, Agustín Santos Maraver, reiterated Spain's view that the matter of Gibraltar should be resolved according to the principle of territorial integrity. He said the UN General Assembly had repeatedly called for the UK and Spain to resolve Gibraltar's situation bilaterally, and he urged the UK to return to the negotiating table in accordance with that UN request.
The General Assembly finally has for more than 50 years been calling on the administering power and Spain to resolve all of their differences on this issue through a bilaterally negotiated solution between Spain and the United Kingdom. Year after year, a decision adopted by consensus by the General Assembly has reflected this mandate for bilateral dialogue.
Speaking on behalf of the Self-Determination for Gibraltar group, Chairman Richard Buttigieg said Gibraltarians were clear that they may need to make some difficult choices in the near future. However, he said those choices would be made freely, not with compulsion, intimidation, or pressure of any kind. He said Gibraltar wants a good neighbourly relationship with Spain and has never wished for anything else. He pointed out that during the COVID crisis, when Gibraltar's economy was being ravaged like everyone else's, it provided free vaccines to all legally registered Spanish cross-frontier workers and paid full salaries to all of them on furlough.
The spirit of the Gibraltarian is as hard as the rock of Gibraltar itself. It cannot and will not be broken. The Gibraltarian is used to having to fight for everything it has. We are a strong and tenacious people. We have faced and overcome huge adversities in the past, and we're willing to face whatever may come in order to defend our rights.
This was the first session attended by the Chief Minister in person for 2 years, owing to the COVID pandemic. The tone of the addresses, Spain's relative brevity, and the suggestion by both Fabian Picardo and the SDGG that Gibraltar is willing to cooperate with its neighbours was far more conciliatory than it has been in the past. Nevertheless, the strength of Gibraltar's red lines were clearly marked.
With regard to the implementation of the declaration